This is the AM News on the AM show. Details now. The National Peace Council says it will negotiate the conditions of the National Democratic Congress after the party rejected signing a peace pact for the 2024 elections unless 6 critical demands are met. The NDC's conditions include signatures from the Inspector General of Police, the Chief Justice and the Attorney General committing to the peace pact. They as well want a full audit of the Electoral Commission's IT systems before they commit to any peace agreement. Johnson Asiedu-Nketia is the chairman of the NDC, and there's more in this report.
For years, the peace accord signed by political parties has been a cornerstone of election tradition, a pledge to uphold peace no matter the circumstances. But on August 13, the NDC national chairman, Johnson Asiedu-Nketia, announced the party will not participate in this year's accord. His reason is simple.
The declaration don't mean anything to us.
A peace declaration? It doesn't mean anything to you?
It doesn't mean anything to us because all previous declarations have not been adhered to, and those declarations have not solved any problem. You have violence, whether you sign declaration or not.
In a desperate move, the Peace Council, fearing the potential fallout, scheduled a meeting to persuade the NDC to reverse their decision. During the encounter, the Peace Council, represented by Maulvi Mohammed bin Salih, urged the NDC to reconsider their position.
Here to appeal and that to kindly do your best to erase any animosity whatsoever if it does exist. Any suspicion whatsoever if it does exist. We are only here to plead that let us decide and agree to make a start. And it is never too late to make a start.
The Peace Council asks the NDC to prioritize peace.
Our plea is, let us let bygone be bygone. Not that we forget it. No sensible person can forget his past, because the past can always guide us as we move ahead. But we can shelve it with the hope that, yes, we would be able to do better. We have what it takes to do much better than we are doing now. And that must be collaborative.
But the NDC will have none of that. National chairman of the party, Johnson Asiedu-Nketia, says it cannot be business as usual.
We have listened to your plea, but we don't accept the fact that we should let bygones be bygones. Because crime has no expiry date. The people who have been killed and maimed are people's fathers, breadwinners, sisters, so on. And the cases are live. People are calling for justice.
The NDC remains resolute, stating they won't commit to any pact unless 6 key conditions are met.
Condition number 1 is that let us see full implementation of the recommendations of Ayawa West Wogon Commission of Inquiry. We want to see prosecution initiated in respect of the illegal printing and handling of several, about 1 million extra ballot papers. We have not heard anything about it. We want action on it now. Otherwise, the next election, the same people can go and now print more than 2 million. The Electoral Commission has not been open to us. We suspect that the equipment is not missing, and they are being hidden for some unwholesome agenda. We have our confidence in the IT systems at the Electoral Commission has been shaken. And we want, point number 5, the president to declare openly on a state platform, not on his political party platform, that he will respect the will of the people as expressed by the outcome of the 2024 December election results. Finally, before any such document, peace pact is submitted to us for signature, we want to see the IGP sign into that document We want to see the Chief Justice signing to that document. We want to see the Attorney General signing to that document. And we want to see the National Security Coordinator signing to that document. If all of them sign, and the monitoring group commits itself to the policy of naming and shaming publicly anybody who reneges on his obligation as far as implementation of the electoral laws of this country are concerned, we think that we will have the way forward.
Angry party members of the NDC were unhappy with the plea from the Peace Council. The Peace Council is now racing against time to meet these demands as they schedule similar meetings with other stakeholders, particularly with the incumbent government. For Joy News, Michael Ashale.
The Trades Union Congress is demanding for full takeover of board chairmanship of the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, arguing that the state agency is failing to yield any positive dividend for pensioners and the working class in Ghana. President Akufo-Addo stoked controversy yesterday when he argued that Senate's decision to declare a nationwide strike over sale of the Labadi Beach Hotel and some other 3 hotel facilities was unnecessary. For President Akufo-Addo, Senate is seeing an improved performance culminating in dividends of 230 million Ghana cedis for the Ghanaian people. But Labour disagrees, and there's more in this report.
Union Congress Ghana says it is not backing down from its demand for reforms in the administration of funds held in the Social Security and National Insurance Trust (SNIT). At its 12th quadrennial delegates conference in the Central Region, the union re-echoed concerns about the decision of SNIT to sell off its stake in Labadi Beach Hotel and 3 other facilities, prompting a sharp response from President Akufo-Addo, who called on organized labor to be measured in their commentary amidst the controversy.
Take note in particular of the improved performance of SNIT, which recently announced a surplus of 230 million cedis on its operations. This should be reassuring to organized labor and perhaps bring into sharper relief the unnecessary controversy that was recently generated by SNIT's efforts to offload non-performing assets in its hotel portfolio. It is my understanding that the transaction that was aborted represented the only occasion in recent history of SNIT that external investors sought to invest in SNIT's holdings. All of us need to be measured when it comes to making decisions and pronouncements that would affect the long-term interests of pensioners.
Executive Secretary of Clocksang, Isaac Bampoado, tells Joy News that the interest of organized labor is to secure the collective goal of pensioners and the working class.
But we went to dialogue, it didn't solve it. So we had to use workers' power, and that's what we used. And it worked for us. So
that's it. 230 million profits that SNIT is making. It looks like SNIT is doing well if we are looking at that figure.
Yeah, if I'm not privy to those figures, but if that is true and SNIT is doing well, that should reflect in the benefits that they give to pensioners. It should also reflect in the pockets of the pensioners. They must have good benefits so that they don't complain. But as you all know, pensioners are complaining. Workers' money. This is pension funds, workers' money, and that must reflect in the governance structure of SNIT. Workers must be in charge, and that's what we are calling for.
What exactly?
We should be in charge of the board. We should control the board. Not to have a board membership of about 12 and you have only 4 workers. No.
The Joseph Ajero Pencil Hall at the Pentecost Convention Center will also be the venue for TUC's executive elections, which will lead to the swearing-in of new leadership for the Labour Front.
At least navigate the union. We are expecting that the confidence of TUC will be brought back into the heart of workers.
But we expect that the new leadership going forward next year will push so that our salaries will be better, our conditions will be better.
Authorities at the renal units of the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital are being forced to sacrifice machine servicing time to cater for patients due to inadequate machinery. The 6 machines at the facility have become inadequate after visits to the facility have more than tripled following the rollout of the free dialysis program of the National Insurance Authority. Head of the renal unit, Dr. Perdita Ochre, fears the lifespan of the machines may reduce with the present rate of usage. Nanaya Ojima visited the facility and has come through with this report.
The temporary dialysis center in the emergency unit of the Konfanoche Teaching Hospital is filled with patients and family members. Already, all 6 dialysis machines here are occupied. Until May this year, the hospital had only 3 dialysis machines, catering for the few patients who could afford the dialysis treatment. Head of the renal unit, Dr. Perdita Ochre, explains.
Before this, machines were not adequate because Konfanoche seeks to serve the northern sector of Ghana. People coming from Sunyane, most of the northern regions, they come to Konfanoche for their treatment section.
The NHIA free dialysis program is offering free dialysis sessions for persons above 60 years and those below 18 years. Persons between the age brackets are offered 2 free sessions monthly. Until the intervention, about 20 of the 100 persons diagnosed of end-stage renal failure could afford dialysis. The number of patients reporting for the service has more than tripled after the intervention, stretching staff to work extra hours.
Government has put in intervention, so if my grandmother who is above 60 years come, I want to stay longer with no extra benefit to us as health workers. We want to stay longer. But how long can you keep on staying longer to absorb all these people? So sometimes you wait or you reschedule them for them to come. Even Sundays, now we work.
Presently, authorities are now scheduling patients for weekends, periods used for servicing of the machines. The unit is appealing to the government to replicate the support offered to Kolebu Teaching Hospital at the Konfanoche Teaching Hospital.
This one, we have heard Kolebu, they are sister centers. We have heard that they have received 30 new machines. And Konfanoche, it's not like we don't have the place to absorb any machine that the government brings.
Unfortunately, the Konfanoche Teaching Hospital has only 6 dialysis machines, taking care of the whole of the northern sector. Until government take up this capital expenditure, people in need of help from the Konfanoche Teaching Hospital will continue to reel under the present situation. For Joy News, Nanaya Ojima, Kumasi.
Now, the minority in Parliament say it is improper for the Electoral Commission to charge a fee for voters to verify their registration details via a USSD code. The Electoral Commission began the nationwide exhibition of the voters' register at all polling stations, but voters have been given an option to verify the details via code at a fee of 50 pesos. But member of the Committee on Independent Constitutional Bodies, Roxy Nelson Dapiamokbo, says the charge is improper and outside of law. He wants the EC to end the charges immediately.
You don't have to accept things like this because you cost your program. The EC is mandated under law to cost its activities and bring same to Parliament for approval. They have just done that. So we are asking for accountability.
That they should come and account for it, or they should stop the charge.
If they want to proceed with it, then they have to come and account for it. Because Parliament cannot give you money to do this and you turn back and charge the people. I am saying that doing this amounts to charging money before persons are permitted to look at their names in the register. That is not acceptable. That is not the legal structure in place.
But what exactly is this USSD about and how does it work? My colleague Jacqueline Ansawayebwa has a demonstration.
The first thing here is you dial *711*51#, then you press the call. And you're waiting, and it says here that welcome to the Mobile Voter Register Exhibition Service. Enter your 10-digit voter ID number. So I've already copied it and I'm just pasting it here. And it says here, hello Yeboah, you'll be charged 0.50 pesos to receive your voter verification details. So then I press 1 to confirm. Then wait, it says here, after payment confirmation, your voter ID details will be sent via SMS. Think, okay, and that was really fast. And I put in my Momo details. So now I'm waiting for the deduction message, which I still haven't gotten. It's now 10:25 a.m. I'm waiting on the message. 2 minutes, 3 minutes later, I still haven't even received a message of the deduction or even a message from the EC to make sure that my details in there are accurate.
And Kenneth Jesse visited some exhibition centers in the Greater Accra region, and at the time, just a handful of people had come to check if their details were captured well.
Well, this has been the scene at the various EC exhibition centers that we visited. Barely no voter inside to check whether their details are correct. We spoke to some of the EC officials, and this is what they said.
Oh, just only 2 people.
2? Since what time?
Yeah, around 7. One came early in the morning, 7:20, and then the other one came almost 8 o'clock. It was 7:50 something. It always okay. Previous years, the people, they don't care because they think their names are already in the register, so they don't have to come and waste their time here. So just few people will come, and then that's happened every year.
The people that came here today, did they have any issues with any of their details?
Oh no, please. Everything was intact. Yeah, everything was okay. But one man and then one woman, but the woman didn't bring card. But once she mentioned the surname, we were able to check.
As of now, we have about 10 people, since we started.
10, all from the same center, or is spread across?
Spread across. Okay. Since today being the first day, it's been a bit of slow start, but we're hoping to pick up.
Now, the 10 people that came, did they have any issues with any of their details?
No problem. Yeah, looking at the time, we have enough room, so we are hoping to get more people by the end of the day.
Well, with the registration exercise lasting for a period of 8 days, it is the hope that as the day goes by, more people will come and check if their details are well captured into EC's database before we head to election 2024. From the Roman Rage Exhibition Center, Kenneth Jesse for Joy News.
In other stories, Ghana Cocoa Board has justified its rising cost of operations despite decline in cocoa production in the past few years. Cocoa Board came under public criticism with the minority questioning a 3.4 billion Ghana cedi allocation for administrative expenses in 2024. Chief Executive Officer Joseph Boahinedu has been given some clarity on the matter in an interaction with journalists after appearing before the Public Accounts Committee in Parliament. My colleague James Aveji was at that PAC meeting and now files this report.
It's for prospective voters to cross-check their details from the voter album. But the exercise has been slow, with only a few people trooping to the centers to confirm their details. At almost midday, most of the centers visited recorded as low as one individual turning up.
Only one person has come around. I don't know why they aren't coming.
It has not been encouraging at all. So far, we have 4 persons, yes, since morning.
And then when did you come here?
7 o'clock a.m.
Do you have any idea as to why they are not coming?
Be that they didn't get the information very well. We can also say that the weather too can be a cause.
The AC officials observe a trend of the aged visiting the center to confirm their details. At the Opokuwari polling center, the majority of the 20 persons.
Number of persons have raised concerns over the rising cost of operations at Cocoa Board. In fact, they have allocated some 3.4 billion Ghana cedis to spend as Cocoa Board. The minority have raised issues regarding that in recent times. But when the Chief Executive Officer, Joseph Boahinedu, appeared before Public Accounts Committee and interacted with the media afterwards, he explains that the rising administrative costs is because Cocoa Board is actually financing the cocoa rehabilitation project currently ongoing.
The government, together with Cocoa Board, then decided to make major intervention, which we call the rehabilitation program. And once you have such a program, you have to spend. And if you are spending, definitely your administrative costs will go up. So a lot of that money is going into payment of the workers who are working in the field.
Joseph Wahinedu also revealed to the Public Account Committee that 6 out of the 14 ongoing road projects initiated some 9 years ago have been cancelled due to financial challenges facing Cocoa Board.
Chairman, 6, according to table, 6 of the road projects have been terminated, and the rest are being repackaged for completion.
The Ghana Education Service also appeared before the Public Account Committee, where a principal superintendent from Gumwa West have been dragged before the committee to confess to some overpayment issues that arose.
When I got the money, I thought it was my money until the auditors came in.
Like we say in local settings, you have chopped the money. Mr. Sampson.
Yes, please.
You've chopped the money.
Yes, boss.
I see.
And I promise that I'm having an investment, which will end ending of this month. So if the money comes, I'll try if I can pay everything off, or if I'll pay part of it.
The committee has finished with its engagement with the ministry, department, and agencies here in Accra, and so has adjourned in Accra, but will continue with its regional engagement in the northern regions from Monday. From Parliament here in Accra, my name is James Savage, reporting for Joy News.
Coming up next is Business Update. In our first business story, banking consultant Dr. Benjamin Amwa has described Bank of Ghana's monetary tightening measure to help stabilize the cedi as prudent. The central bank has rolled out a series of measures to help stabilize the local currency, including make cedi assets more attractive with high interest rates and reviewing the policy rate. But Dr. Amwa was also worried about impact on cost of credit.
Rates are how the market means that if you are going to borrow, you are going to borrow at a higher cost, and this high cost will be fed into pricing with the assumption that loan cost is a major influencer of input prices, and that will affect prices on the market. We are going to consume goods and services at a higher price if this particular strategy should be sustained over the long term. But we should not forget, inflation itself is also a factor into the monetary tightening framework. So if we can get inflation under control, if you look at the market basket that is used to calculate or estimate our inflation, if all the variables in there or some of the major components can be brought under control, then that will feed into the overall inflation, which will also pull down the monetary policy rate. So over the long term, it is not sustainable because it will make prices expensive. But for the immediate term, the central bank may want to use this just to stabilize the currency.
The International Monetary Fund has disclosed that government may introduce the suspended 15% value-added tax on electricity if inflation rate continues to decline. Government suspended the plan to implement the VAT on electricity after public outcry on the hardship the tax may bring on consumers, particularly residential. The following report has more.
The IMF in its July 2024 country staff report hinted that government may implement the policy if inflation goes down. The IMF said on page 10 of the report, and I quote, "On the revenue side, implementation of VAT on residential electricity expected yield of 0.17% of GDP was suspended due to strong social resistance. The authorities are committed to implementing this measure when the inflation dynamics are more conducive." End of quote. The VAT on residential electricity electricity was initially announced as part of revenue-generating measures under the IMF-supported COVID-19 recovery effort. A letter from the Ministry of Finance signed by former Minister Ken Ofori-Atta and dated January 1st, 2024, directed the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, and Northern Electricity Distribution Company, NETCO, to implement the VAT for residential customers above a specific consumption level.
Let's go for a currency update for today. That ends the AM News on the AM show. Coming up next is News Review. You want to stay for that. Dr. Kwame Asasanti, the head for the Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana, joins us to review the newspapers. We'll be right back.